Having a boyfriend is ruining your love life. It's a shocking statement, and I'm gonna probably get a lot of flack for this one. I'll probably get people just really confused because I myself have always been the girlfriend. I've been in relationships throughout my adulthood to where it's like I've never really been single for too terribly long. I had a year between a 4-year relationship and 6 months. And then there was a time where I spent 2 years by myself in my 20s as well. But most of my adulthood, I have been the girlfriend. And as I really came into a different type of energy, I'm starting to realize what I actually knew almost a year ago and I had forgotten. And this is the concept of being a girlfriend is ruining your love life. Now, if you're someone that maybe is a little bit like me in the sense of I've had a history where as a child, I only really got love and affection if I was achieving or if I was on stage or, just shining bright. And I learned that love came through others rather than from myself. But I also spent a great deal of my childhood and my adolescence alone, whether that was traveling or working or, just day to day, just being alone. So I grew up almost as what would be called of a anxious slash avoidance, like a fearful attachment to where I'm actually way better off normally when I'm on my own. I see that throughout my entire existence, all 30 years, that I excel whenever I'm single and I get really stagnant when I'm in relationships. And that's because I have a tendency to find love through others and want to help them achieve their goals and their dreams and just pour my heart and my soul and everything into lifting them up and call it a little bit of a savior complex even. That is my default. But I recognized that a long time ago. I recognized that maybe 5 or 6 years ago at this point, and really started actually doing the work on it, I would say 3 years ago. And it was this revelation of being a girlfriend is ruining your love life that I started to pick up on that I'm not alone, and that a lot of people that write to me or talk to me, they also fall into the trap of they are people pleasing by default, or they find, themselves in these relationships where they're just being drained because they're trying to fix somebody or they're trying to help heal someone and lift them up. And that's a really dangerous place to be in, especially if you're a magical person. If you are somebody that lights up the room or somebody that you just know you have a really big purpose in this life. Like you have a lot of meaning and growth that you could bring to this world on a massive level, or even a level that's just more impactful than the 30 feet outside of your house or your apartment. And this is where you have to really look in the mirror, first and foremost, to be like, hey, what's going on here? Like, this isn't what I signed up for. This isn't what I wanted originally. I thought that this person was going to be good for me. I thought that this person was going to love me the way I love them, and they would pour back into me, and we'd build each other up. And that doesn't happen in a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship. That's kind of one of those bigger lies, is they're thinking that you're going to get into a relationship and this means that the other person's going to help you become a better person. And if that was the case, every single time you got in a relationship, you would walk out of it being a better person. But too often than not, a lot of us walk out of relationships feeling broken or feeling like something was stolen from us, or just completely giving up on the hope of love and relationships altogether. So being in a relationship by itself is not doing anything really for your love life. And one of the biggest things that I had to learn throughout my 20s was logic. Real analytical, cannot beat the facts type of logic. Now, if you are a girlfriend, especially if you've been a girlfriend for a long-term relationship and you want to be married, you really need to listen up. You need to really hone in to what I'm about to say, because being a girlfriend is the worst thing that you can do if you're looking to get married, because automatically you're starting to drift into these roles of wife without actually having that solid foundation of man and wife. So with that, you got to kind of, again, look in the mirror and be like, okay, I am cooking for him. I'm cleaning for him. I'm listening to all of his work drama and all of his emotional baggage with his family. And I'm showing up. I'm being as beautiful as I possibly can be. I'm putting up with the disrespect and the late nights and just all these different things. And you're in that girlfriend territory where he has you exactly where he thinks that you need to be. Like, he already has every single one of his mets being met. Like, I said that wrong, but every single one of his needs being met. Why would he change? Like, men are inspired by action. Like, they will tell you exactly how they feel about you through their actions. So if he doesn't feel like you're worth it, like he's already has everything he needs, he's not going to have any type of inspired action to progress your relationship or to even show up the way he really knows he should, which can be devastating, because if you live in that space for long enough, like I'm talking 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, God forbid 10 years in this kind of limbo space, you're going to find yourself miserable and confused. And it's not that this man was mistreating you, but at the same time, he knew exactly what he was doing. Like, men are very smart, and they very much only invest so much into what they see your value as. So if you are like, why isn't he calling me? He's out of the country and I haven't heard from him all day, and all I want is that quick, text just to let me know he's alive. Like, those little small things, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he does when he hurts you. Like, one of the worst things I think a man could do is to watch you cry over and over, whether it's over something as dramatic as cheating or just small pains that they implement on you, and just let that be. Like, a man watching a woman cry is not a sign of the woman's weakness, it's a sign of the man's weakness. Because no worthy man, no high value man is going to let a woman cry. He's not going to mistreat her like that. And if she's crying, something has happened. Like, women are very joyful creatures. You can kind of see that even whenever a woman is in her own feminine black cat essence. She glows, she radiates, she dances, she plays, she laughs. Like, even for me, like, when I first realized that, like, my laugh was dissipating, that I had not heard my laugh in days in previous relationships, that's a huge trigger warning that, like, something has gone terribly wrong. But if you are someone that's like, okay, I want true love, I want a long-term partnership, I want to find a man that's going to put a rock on my hand. Like, getting into a relationship is the absolute worst thing you could do, because there's no reason for him to progress forward. There's no reason. And it's a big myth that they're like, well, you have to be in a relationship before you get married. Not really. Not in that full commitment relationship. Like, if you really wanted to marry me, we don't have to be a boyfriend and girlfriend. Do we need to get to know each other? Yes. Do we need to have the same values and belief system and have the same provision for where our life is going? 100%. But do we have to be in a relationship? Absolutely not. A lot of women fall into this thinking of, oh, if we're in a relationship, he'll be exclusive and he'll only want me and he'll only choose me. Well, truth be told, that sounds a little bit like a trap. It sounds like you're afraid because you know that this man is not a high-value man and that he's not going to show up in a good way, that he's promiscuous, that he is chasing girls left and right, looking for that validation that he doesn't have in himself. And I said what I said. So if you can stop with that, okay, if he picks me and now we're boyfriend and girlfriend and we're doing this, he's only going to be true to me and faithful to me. There's so many relationships out there where men are unfaithful. There's so many relationships out there where men lie and cheat. And hidden truths are just as damaging as the truths that are hard to hear. Like, you know deep inside your gut. And if you are a very intuitive woman, you'll actually become physically sick. Like, when I know that someone isn't treating me right, I get physically sick. And my mind may not be able to process what's going on. And my confusion of like, okay, why do I feel this way will be like at all-time high level. But my body, especially my stomach, will just hurt. And I will find myself on, the shower floor crying at 3 a.m. because I'm in so much pain, because intuitively I know something is deeply wrong, but my mind and maybe even my heart haven't caught up to it. That is what happens when you feel like this relationship that you've thought that if you got that title, that you were going to get the respect and the love that you deserve was going to achieve. Like, you're going to find out one way or another, especially if you're someone like me that's continually to work on myself. I work on my emotional connections. I work on figuring out where I'm falling short and elevating. And that requires a lot of reflection and self-awareness, but more importantly, it requires a lot of trust in yourself. So signing up to be girlfriend is also signing up to be, the woman that makes sure that he goes to bed at a reasonable hour because he has to wake up in the morning, or the woman that has to be like, maybe you had one or too many drinks and you need to go home, or the woman that's like, have you called your mother? Like, have you talked to your parents? The woman that's like, why are you hurting me for something that I didn't cause? Like, that was your coworker, or that was your ex-girlfriend, or that was your friend that did that, but I'm being punished for it. Like, you're signing up for all of these emotional just investments without the actual foundation of partnership. Now, if you're somebody that's like, well, I don't want to get married, that's not my goal, or anything like that, like, by all means, like, do what you need to do, because you have a different mindset for what you want for your life. You may be someone that's like, I don't want to have long-term relationships. I want to have relationships that last 6 months, or maybe a year, or maybe 3 years, and then I want to move to the next. And that is 100% your autonomy, and you could go for that. But you need to also remember that people are human. And if you misalign with somebody that wants something long-term, that wants to grow old with somebody, you're going to cause a lot of pain and a lot of damage. And if you are a high-value person, if you have integrity, you're not going to do that. You're going to be like, okay, I'm only going to look in this age bracket or in this, set of people that have similar lifestyle choices to me, and not go for the girl or for the guy that wants something that's more serious and long-term, wants to build an empire, or is wanting to have children one day, or just trying to elevate their life and like have a solid foundation with somebody. So I have to say this next part, and this is controversial, but it's math. And it's not even girl math, it's just very logical, like very much. Here we go. I'm just going to say it. If you want to get married quicker, you need to date more. Think of it like going and getting a job, okay? You want to get a job, and you want to be hired, and you want to be hired for not just like a regular small position. You want to get hired for something that is your dream job. The dream job with the dream lifestyle, with the dream salary. XYZ, okay? You don't go to one interview and they say, well, we like you, we're going to pay you $60,000 a year and you work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Sometimes you're on call on the weekend. Like, okay, for a lot of people, that sounds like a dream job. And they're like, yes, sign me up. I want that. And if that's your package, then you are golden. But let's say that you've been really working on yourself and you have the skill set and you've taken care of your emotional history and you've just graduated to a whole different degree. Like, if that's the case, then you deserve a different job. And if you settled for that 60,000 and you did keep dating, because that's what we're doing, we're dating or interviewing, you're going to miss out because you may get the next one and they're like, we will pay you that. We love your skill set, but we only pay you 40. And you would absolutely say no to that because the other person offered you 60 for the same thing. But if you don't keep dating because you've locked yourself into a relationship, you're going to miss out on the fact that, like, okay, what about somebody offers you 150,000? Okay, that's nice. What about if it's like 150,000 Monday through Thursday? You know, once a month you work a weekend. Okay, well, that's even better, right? So, like, you're starting to see things, but you're also starting to see that you're getting to where you want to be quicker. Now, you may be like, okay, what about if I find him and he just seems like the dream guy and, you know, I fall in love and he's perfect? Ooh, I've been there. And that stings because this is more of a, like, speech to myself or even former heir to be like, then why did you ruin it by getting in a relationship with that man? And he was the one that you wanted to marry. If he was your husband material, he had the whole checklist. He even looked like your celebrity crush, like the whole thing. You ruined it by getting in a relationship. 100%. Because again, you started working a job that you weren't being, quote unquote, paid for. And it is hard because if you are somebody, like I started this video of, I fall into the category where I always felt like I got love from others. And that's kind of how I developed what love was at a young age. You got to, like, really hit a hard stop on the idea of relationships, because the relationship with yourself is what's being sacrificed there. The right partner will be completely aligned with where you're going, and they will tell you where you're going. Like, a man, like a real man, has dreams and goals and ambition, and he goes for things. And he is very clear. Everyone knows what this man wants in his life. Like, for his life, with his life, who he wants next to him in the passenger seat. A real man has all of these things. So if he has found you and he's like, you match my vision of my car and the direction that we're going, and I want to have you next to me so we can go the same way, he's going to make sure that he locks that in. And that will be a proposal. That will be a ring. That will be marriage, if that is what you guys are aligned for. It won't be, let's date for 6 months and you're in your 30s, or you're in, you know, your late 30s or 40s and you want to get married and have children. He won't do that. Like, he knows, like, he's logical. Like, men are programmed to problem solve. So just jumping in a relationship, if you're in your 20s and you're like, I'm not even thinking about marriage, then by all means, be a girlfriend. Like, you know what you're signing up for. Like, this whole entire video isn't about telling you what you should or shouldn't do. It's about being very clear of what your choices are. Because several girls out there, several women out there, don't really realize the choices that they're making whenever they're deciding to be in a relationship. Okay, well, that is a lot of just hard realities, but you're not alone. I actually have mentorship. It's $150 a month, unlimited texting and voice text. Like, we can talk every day through your situations. We can work, you know, through obstacles, answer, like, get to figure out what he's thinking, like the whole kit and caboodle. And same thing with men. Like, I also coach men in the same exact thing of like, okay, this is what you do next. Or if she's, battling this, like, this is how you show up. Or if you like her and she's high value and she seems out of your league, like, this is how you get her attention. Like, I work with both men and women in this, but nonetheless, you can find me on Instagram or YouTube with that. I also have a new little docuseries I'm doing because I just moved to Australia for the next couple of months. And it's a whole thing of just rebranding myself and really just honing in on what I want for my life and how to show up better for myself. So with that, this is the Black Cat Energy Podcast. By all means, like, subscribe, rate 5 stars on Spotify. It really makes a difference. And until then, be strong, my kitties.